Carolina on the ride. Whoa, whoa. Carolina on the ride. Whoa.
What's going on, Panther Nation? Bill Mack here with another edition of the Panther Prowl. Glad you folks could join me for another video, as I am dropping this video right after the Panthers game just ended, of course. This is the Week 9 review. Of course, the Panthers went into Arrowhead Stadium. Week 9, they were basically 3-5 going into the contest. Of course, the Kansas City were 7-1. Kansas City came off of a win very handily over the Jets. Of course, the Panthers dropping their third straight against Atlanta. Just a lot going on. You know, a few things here, Panther Nation, and of course, at the ending of that game, Panthers dropped yet again another single possession loss as they fell to the Kansas City Chiefs to go 4 straight losses to 33-31. Panthers now 3-6 for the season. What can I say? It was a tale of two different halves. We started out strong. Just a few notes here. Carolina's 5 of now 6, and if you hear any noise, sorry about that. Close to the road, nothing I can do about that. But, starting out this game, the Panthers had 4 of 5 of their losses as of late were late drives that they didn't capitalize on. This was another one of those games. The Panthers, to me, I'll get into it as we go along here. The Panthers also, of note, they only have their defenses only caused the opposing teams to kick 1 punt out of the last 2 games. Again, a trend that isn't going to do much well for this game. Third down yardage was the problem. Third down conversions, somewhat a lot different in this game. Offensive line had to play better. That was one of the keys I said in my preview video, was them having that. Notables out for the game, of course, Russell Okung was out. He was still out nursing his calf. Jeremy Shum was a late scratch. They wanted to give him a little bit more time, so he wasn't starting for the game. Of course, the great ones we had, there was some returns we did have back, though. Christian McCaffrey came back, of course. This is his first time after missing 6 games. Rasul Douglas and Zach Kerr both returned off of the COVID list, so they were back for the game. So I'm getting ready to give you a couple of the drives here and scores, what was going on. Carolina's first drive, of course, was their longest drive. This was a very long drive. It took up over half of the half, or half of the quarter. It lasted 9 minutes and 53 seconds, and the end result was a 9-yard touchdown. Teddy Bridgewater, of course, was 8 of 10, 45 yards. He had 4 carries, 18 rushing yards, and Christian McCaffrey had 2 catches, 16 yards, and as I said, in a 9-yard TD reception. Panthers did terrible this first drive. They basically had to call 2 early timeouts due to the clock running down. Whether the problem was communication, they just had to call 2 early timeouts. That didn't bode well for the team going into the end of the first quarter into the second half. Kansas City first drive, of course, Mahomes was 4-8, 35 yards. Tyreek Hill had 2 of those catches for 17 yards, and it resulted in a 39-yard field goal. Panthers were up 7-3 at the time. Panthers get the ball back. It was a lot going on in this drive. Curtis Samuels, excuse me. He had a 14-yard touchdown reception. The Panthers got a fake punt with a 28-yard pass from their punter to Zylstra, and of course Teddy Bridgewater was 3 of 5, 34 yards, and of course Zylstra had the catch for 28 yards. This touchdown from Samuels put the Panthers up 14-3. So we're looking good. I think, it was the next drive I was kind of worried about. So Kansas City comes up their second drive. Mahomes is 2 of 5, 38 yards, and Michael Hardy had 2 catches for 38 yards, but it ended off with a 55-yard field goal. So this puts Carolina up 14-6. So I'm looking kind of good. They've kind of kept the ball out of Mahomes' hands, and their defense was coming through to them to hold that high-powered Kansas City offense to just 2 field goals. So I'm optimistic so far, but this is the first half we're talking about here. The third drive, of course, DeMarcus Robinson had a 1-yard TD reception. Mahomes was on fire. He was 6 for 6 and for 58 yards. And, of course, Robinson, like I said, caught the touchdown. This drew the Chiefs within a 1-point game. It was 14-13. So I'm like, okay, don't let the wheels fall off. You got to try to do something. So the Carolina's fourth drive, of course, ended up Teddy Bridgewater was 4 of 7. He had 20 yards. Ended up with a 47-yard field goal. Panthers extended that lead to 4 points, 17-13. So then, excuse me, Mahomes gets the ball last going into the final minute and some change, and Mahomes was only 1 for 2, 36 yards. Both of those catches, 2 for 3, let's say. DeMarcus Robinson had 2 of them for all the yards, both catches, and they fumbled at the end. So they were out of field goal range. So this ended up basically having to go for a Hail Mary. And great thing is, so it's now 17-13 going into the half. Now, keys of the half, like I said, Carolina had to keep Mahomes off the field. They were winning that battle in the first half. I wish I'd have got the second halftime possession to show you the difference in 2 halves. But Carolina basically dominated that half, 19 minutes and 23 seconds to only 10 minutes and 37 seconds. So almost 2-1 in time possession. So with that aspect, that means they were doing stuff right. They were actually keeping the ball for a long period of time, long, slow drives, and were able to keep their defense. Panthers defense was able to keep Mahomes and those guys limited to what they had. So only 13 points and a half. What more can you ask for? However, every football game has 2 halves. So we're going to the second half. Tale of 2 halves, what I was saying beginning, here we are now. Of course, Kansas City gets the ball first in the second half, and Mahomes goes 3 for 4, 43 yards, and they ended up, and Sam Franklin basically gets a sack for the Panthers. So good for him. He got a sack. This causes them to push back. And Harrison Buckner ends up missing a 47-yard field goal attempt. Panthers still up 17-13. So I'm like, okay, great. They missed the field goal. Let's build on that. So Panthers get the ball. And all I'm going to say is they went and got down, and Sly missed a 51-yard field goal. So now we trade field goals, and they both missed a field goal to start off their first possessions each of the first half. So we go to Kansas City's second drive. McCombs was 3 of 4. He had 51 yards. Kelsey was a big part of that. Kelsey just went crazy on our secondary, and all like he was doing was laying that soft zone. That's what it was. It was just laying out that soft zone we play. And I've said time and time again in my videos of how that soft zone will continue to hurt them until they at least go to man or something. So he goes in, and Edwards Elaire gets a 4-yard TD reception. So now, by that touchdown, Kansas City takes the lead then, and they don't relinquish the lead whatsoever. So it's 20-17. Panthers end up giving up a sack on their next drive, puts them out of range. They're too far back, can't convert, so they end up having to punt. Not a shot. Third drive for Kansas City, Mahomes was 3 of 5, 64 yards. And 28 of those yards was a Tyreek Hill touchdown reception. So, and they missed the extra point, so that made it a 9-point game. Means it could be a potential, maybe a field goal later might put the Panthers up with that missed extra point. Unless Kansas City goes for 2, don't worry, it doesn't even happen. They don't need the 2-point conversion. Carolina gets the ball. And, of course, Dennis Daly was in the game for Russell Okung, but then he gets hurt, and then Greg Little comes in for him. So now we got our backup left tackle. Bridgewater was 3 of 5, 55 yards. He had 19 rushing yards and a 4-yard TD rushing touchdown. This was, without a doubt, the gutsiest. If you can't say that Teddy ain't tough and Teddy ain't determined and Teddy don't want to score and win, this you should have watched this drive by Carolina. I mean, they're 4th and 14. You know, they already got the fake field. And like I said, they got the fake punt early on, and it was a 9-yard TD pass. And McCaffrey caught off of that early in the game. 4th and 14. The Panthers are going for it. I'm like, oh no, here we go. 14 yards line. They break out. Teddy breaks out down the middle, and he dives for 5 yards into and gets the first down. I mean, it was awesome. And then he gets the run inside for 4 yards to bring the touchdown. So great play by Teddy. I gave a lot of respect to the dude. I mean, the run, to take that jump, to dive for 5 yards, to get that first down, he really wanted to give all that he could. So all Panther haters don't want to hear nothing about Teddy Bridgewater at all, with his ethics and how he wants to do. The man wants to win. So he drives. So they get the 4 down. So now it goes back to Carolina or Kansas City. Now Carolina tries a little trickery here. It's worked early in the game, 2 for 2 and 4 downs. However, this time they get a failed onside kick, and Sly touches the ball at the 9-yard line rather than 10 yards for it to be for them to be able to touch it. So this gives a penalty. Carolina and it gets an Kansas City starts on Carolina's 44-yard line. Of course, Mahomes being on the short field, he was 4 for 5, 42 yards, and he had a 2-yard passing touchdown to Tyreek Hill. So this now this puts them back up 33-24. That's where they finished scoring. So now Carolina gets the ball back for their 4th drive. Bridgewater is 7 of 7, 63 yards. Christian McCaffrey had 12 rushing yards, 9 receiving yards, and a rushing touchdown in this drive. Just awesome. And don't forget, Curtis Samuel had 2 catches for 22 yards on 1 spectacular catch. C-Mac had 1 spectacular catch. So now this puts the Panthers within 2 points. 2 points. It's 33-31. So then they get onside recovery. The kick. Panthers try yet again. However, Brian Burns gets a sack, knocks Mahomes out of field goal range, and the Chiefs, so they end up punting. Great for us. However, the 5th and final drive, now this is what I'm saying, Panther Nation, this was a terrible, terrible drive for the Panthers altogether. They were throwing the ball 8, 9-yard dumps down the center of the field. Now, mind you, Panther Nation, this was something that they needed to get out of bounds, go deep. They weren't going deep. Teddy was just hitting checkdowns. I started calling him check down Teddy because that's all he was doing. Short little 8, 9-yard passes. The guys were choosing to turn it back infield rather than going outside because they were out of timeouts trying to get the ball back from Kansas City's possession. So they're going down the field with no touchdowns, like 1:26 to go. They wasted so much time. I'm like, are they even going to try to get down there? So it ends up, Teddy is 5 of 6, 47 yards. They get a penalty, no choice but to try to kick a 67-yard field goal attempt. However, Sly kicks it. It has enough distance, but it goes wide right yet again. 2nd straight game, we've missed a field goal that could either tied or won us the game. This one would give us the win. But you can't say too much. So with that, the Panthers drop to 3 and 6. Kansas City goes up to 8 and 1. For the final stats for the game, Teddy Bridgewater was 36 of 49, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, and he got sacked twice. C-Mac, of course, coming back his first game back. What a great game back. He had 18 carries, 69 yards, a touchdown, 10 catches for 82 yards, 1 receiving touchdown. And, of course, Curtis Samuel went 9 catches, 105 yards. Great game for him as well. Patrick Mahomes, of course, another big stellar game. 30 of 45, 372 yards, 4 passing touchdowns. Edwards Eclair was 5 of 14 carries. He had 3 catches for 20 yards and 1 receiving touchdown. Panthers shut down the running game, but if you're going to give it to Mahomes, I'd rather went with try to prevent the passing than the touchdown, than the rush, but that's Carolina's gameplay. And, of course, the big receivers for them, Travis Kelce, 10 for 159 yards. Tyreek Hill, 9 catches, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. Of course, Demarcus Robinson had a touchdown as well. So, what a heartbreaker for us, Panther Nation. It was so close, yet so far. But hopefully, with the time being, we'll be able to somehow get a win coming into our upcoming game, which, like I said, I don't know who it was yet. I tried to rush to get the video out to you. A lot going on. Just keep being optimistic. The team is playing well. If they play like this aggressive every game, there'll be results. You can't come off a game like this. And I know that some people say, well, you got to do some things to keep up with Kansas City. But if you saw the defense, they really did well the first half. Second half, it kind of fell off. Of course, that's when Mahomes really turns it on. So it was sad to see it, Panther Nation, but maybe next time we'll be able to do something and catch it. So I hope you folks, Panther Nation, enjoyed this video. If you do, always give me a thumbs up, like this video, comment in the comments below, subscribe, important, subscribe to my channel if you like Panther, if you like the Panthers, you like football, and I'll try to, and I appreciate it, like I said, and share this video with everyone, and until next time, Panther Nation, this is Bill Mack with the Panther Prowl saying, keep pounding.